Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back. Oh, that might have been a bit close. Yo, what's up, guys? Welcome back to another video today. This one is about AI. Now, I'm entitled to my opinion. You're entitled to your opinion. Alright, so don't go after me for this video. But, yeah, I'm just gonna get into it. Right now, the world is panicking. The headlines say that artificial intelligence is going to destroy our power grids. They say data centers are going to consume more electricity than entire nations. And if you've already tried to buy RAM for your computer recently, you already know the pain. A standard 32GB kit of DDR5 memory that cost under $90 a couple of years ago has absolutely skyrocketed to over $400. Manufacturers are steering all their factory lines towards massive AI data centers. They're leaving the regular consumers out in the cold. Feels like we're entering a dark age of tech, where computing power is a luxury only the ultra-rich can afford. But today I'm here to tell you that doomsday headline is/are completely wrong. Welcome back. Today we're going to talk about the grand cycle of technology. What we are living through right now isn't a permanent crisis, it's a temporary bottleneck. And if history has taught us anything, it is that computing power always scales up, while cost and energy consumption always plummets. Today we are going to look at the historical proof of why AI is about to become incredibly efficient, why RAM is going to become cheaper than ever before, and why this current crisis is just history repeating itself. To understand where we are going, we have to look at where we started. Let's go back to the year 1946. Scientists at the University of Pennsylvania unveiled ENIAC. It was the world's first programmable electronic general-purpose computer, and it was an absolute monster. ENIAC weighed more than 30 tons. It took him an entire 1,800 square foot room, and he used over 18,000 vacuum tubes to do basic maths. But the craziest part, the power consumption. ENIAC pulled an unbelievable 150 kilowatts of electricity. Every single time they turned ENIAC on, the lights in the city of Philadelphia literally flickered. It was so incredibly inefficient that doing a simple calculation used enough energy to power a modern home for days. If you told the scientists in 1946 that in the future humans would carry a computer in their pocket, a computer is billions of times faster than ENIAC, and that it would run on a tiny battery charged by a wall outlet, they would have called you completely insane. But it happened. How? It happened because of a fundamental law of engineering. When a technology becomes valuable enough, the entire world shifts to optimize it. We moved from vacuum tubes to transistors, then from transistors to silicon chips. And right now, the exact optimization shift is happening to AI. But over the last 12 months, we have seen the rise of a revolutionary math trick called quantization. And to understand how it saves so much power, we need to look at how an AI's brain actually makes a decision. Inside an AI software, there are billions of tiny virtual sliders. We call these weights. When you ask an AI a question, it passes your text through these billions of sliders, adjusting them perfectly to calculate the right answer. Originally, tech companies built these sliders with extreme absurd precision. Every single slider was saved as a massive decimal number. Think of a number like 0.7352941. That is total overkill. It's like watching a YouTube video in 8K resolution on a tiny smartphone screen. Your eyes can't even see that many pixels, but your phone still has to burn through its battery and use massive amounts of data just to stream it. This is exactly what AI data centers have been doing. They have been burning massive amounts of electricity, doing heavy math with billions of microscopic decimals. Quantization completely fixes this. Instead of keeping those massive power-hungry decimals, engineers force the computer to round everything to the nearest whole number. They compress the system so that every single slider can only be set to one of 16 basic simple numbers. Think of it like packing for a trip. Originally, the AI was trying to pack its clothes using weirdly shaped custom glass jars. It took up a massive amount of space. It was heavy and it was fragile. Quantization takes all those items and forces them into standard identical cardboard boxes. Suddenly, everything stacks perfectly. To do this, the computer uses a basic conversion rule. Imagine a highly precise decimal like 0.5012. The computer looks at it shrugs and says, "That is close enough to the nearest number 4. It instantly deletes the rest of the decimal and rounds it down. When you ask the AI a question, it no longer has to crunch massive complex decimals. It just flies through simple basic whole numbers. It is the difference between multiplying long decimals on a piece of paper versus doing basic maths on your fingers. Going back to our video, quantization is like dropping that 8K video stream down to standard high definition. The file size shrinks by almost 90%. The video loads instantly and your phone stops heating up in your hand. But to the average person watching, the video looks almost exactly the same. By forcing AI to use these simplified whole numbers, the memory space needed for AI shrinks by a staggering 87%. Because the math is so basic, the computer chips can work 8 times faster while cutting the power grid consumption by over 60%. And the most mind-blowing part, the AI loses less than 5% of its intelligence. Tech companies are finally realizing a massive truth. AI doesn't need to be perfectly precise to be brilliant. It just needs to be fast, efficient, and affordable. But what about the RAM crisis? Why is memory so expensive right now? The explanation is simple: structural reallocation. The 3 major memory chip makers, Samsung, SK Hynix, and Micron, have shifted almost half of their production lines to make high bandwidth memory for AI servers. Because they are chasing the massive profit margins of AI tech giants, they cut down the production of regular consumer DDR5 RAM. Supply went down, demand stayed high, and prices exploded. Analysts are warning that this pain could last through 26 and 27. But here's the secret the doomsday forecasters ignore. High prices create an absolute goldmine for incentive for manufacturing. Right now, memory companies are making record-breaking profits. And what do companies do when they have cash and massive demand? They build bigger factories. Micron is currently constructing massive new fabrication plants. Samsung and SK Hynix are investing hundreds of billions into new next-generation manufacturing nodes. Historically, the market is a pendulum. It swings back and forth between extreme shortage and massive oversupply. We saw it in 2017. We saw it during the pandemic. Whenever prices get this high, manufacturers build so much capacity that eventually the market gets completely flooded. By the time these new mega factories come online over the next couple of years, we are going to see the single biggest crash on RAM prices in tech history. DDR5 and next generation DDR6 will become so cheap that base model computers will likely start with 64 or 128 gigabytes of RAM as standard. We also have to look at architectural innovation. Right now, computers are inefficient because the processor has to constantly pull data from separate RAM chips. This is known as the von Neumann bottleneck. I don't know if I'm saying that right. Moving data back and forth across a motherboard uses a massive amount of energy. But the industry is already moving past this. Look at Apple's M-series chips, or the newest AI laptop processors from Intel and AMD. They're putting the RAM directly onto the processor package. Unified memory removes the distance the data has to travel. It dramatically lowers the power required and speeds up performance instantly. In the near future, local AI processing won't need a massive power-hungry desktop rig. It will run locally on your phone, using a fraction of the watt. So what's the ultimate takeaway here? Don't let the current headlines trick you into thinking the tech industry is broken. Every single time humanity invents a paradigm-shifting technology, we go through this exact same phase. Phase 1 is discovery, where the tech is incredibly expensive, massive, and inefficient. That was ENIAC in 1946. That was AI in 23. Phase 2 is the bottleneck, where everyone wants it, supply can't keep up, and prices spike. That is where we are right now with RAM and power grids. But phase 3 is almost democratization. I have no idea if I'm saying that right, by the way. Let me know. Efficiency wins, scale wins, capital investment wins. The AI models of tomorrow will be 1,000 times smarter than what we have today, but they will run on a fraction of the electricity. And the memory required to power them will eventually become dirt cheap, just like every generation of storage before it. We aren't running out of power, we are just building the foundation for the next tech boom. Think about 128 gigabytes memory card. If you sold that to scientists in the 1950s, they would have passed out. But I want to know what you think. Are you holding off upgrading your PC because of the current RAM prices? And do you think AI efficiency will evolve fast enough to save our energy bills? Let me know your thoughts in the comments below.